Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening, downloading, and subscribing to the latest edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. I'm 12 Kyle. Check this out. On this podcast, we're going to talk about some of the best 90s R&B albums. And I've got a special co-host. Well, he's really not a co-host. He's like crew. He's like my boy. He's like family. My man Eclectik is in the building. Now, if you follow the podcast, you know that he knows hip hop, but he knows a little bit about R&B too. So sit tight. We'll drop some music and then we'll get the podcast jumping. Let's get it. Welcome back. As I mentioned in the intro, we are talking about the best of the 90s R&B. Once again, I am your host, 12 Kyle. And like I said, we're talking 90s R&B. So in thinking about talking about 90s R&B, you got to get somebody to come on the podcast who was outside in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who was around, who knew what time it was. So, as you can see, I've got a co-host with me on this podcast. He doesn't really need an introduction, but I'm going to give him an introduction anyway. This man was the first man who felt good about candy. Little known fact, this man is the fourth member of the Skinny Boys. He gave Roger more bounce to the ounce.
Oh, no doubt.
This was the man who told you that his guns were hot and your guns were cold. The man who taught Icky how to shuffle, former Drew Hall baller, ladies and gentlemen, the man who hails from the place where everybody is somebody. My man Eclectik. E, what up, baby?
Thank you. Don't stop. Yo, my guns is hot.
Your guns are cold.
Oh, you killed him.
That was so funny.
Faces. Yo, what up? Yo, it's been a minute.
Yeah.
You know, you wonder how come my next guest spot was late. I was giving you time to get the last one straight.
Facts.
So, you know, we here.
What's good, man?
Yo, it's a new year, new decade. Feeling good. And what better way to kick it off than to talk about some shit that happened 30 years ago?
Yeah, because there's nothing to talk about from this particular decade or these years. Because if you're living in this day and time, you don't want to talk about it.
Nah, you don't want any of this. You want to. This is why this podcast is good, because it puts you in a good mood, reminds you of when things was what they should have been and what they should be, and so you can kind of relax and decompress and just feel good and reminisce.
No doubt. Now I had to get you on now for those listening. If you go back with me and Eclectik, you know that we actually got our podcast jumping really on his podcast when he did a podcast about did Mary J. Blige kill R&B? Now this was years ago. Of course she didn't, because Mary J. Blige is one of the greatest singers of all time.
I mean, I won't go that far, but
one of the baddest motherfuckers of all time.
I mean, it's not necessarily her fault,
right?
I don't think she went out to do it. I don't think she was like, nah, it all stops now. But the album, the project, man, that signaled the beginning of the end.
So there you have it. So when you're finished with this podcast, if you want to know where we started, and I mean, man, that was what, 4 or 5 years ago, maybe longer than that.
It was way
it literally was the first podcast that we did. So we go that far back. So now if you guys have been following Eclectic, you know that he knows hip hop. But I have the funny suspicion that some of you who probably got onto the train late hasn't heard him talk a lot about R&B, but he does know R&B. Again, he was outside in the 90s. So he knows what he's talking about. So what we're going to do...
I was outside in the 80s.
Right.
So, yeah.
Latchkey Kid. Beans and Winnies was his thing.
Come on, man. Key around my neck on the fat shoelace.
Oh, man. So what we're going to talk about is... And we don't, neither one of us know what the other one's going to say, but we have, what we're going to do is we're going to come up with 10 of our own, some of the best R&B albums from the 90s. Again, the 90s era was so different than, the era that we're currently in when it comes to R&B. So I guess before we start talking about our albums, let me ask you a quick question. Today's R&B, or what is considered to be today's R&B, do you actually listen to it?
Okay. Well, I'm going to preface this by saying I think that by and large, not completely, but by and large, R&B is dead.
Okay.
So most of the music that's out are just variations of pop music. And, they're all trying to be pop, which is nothing wrong with. I hate that when I say something is pop, or that the music is hip pop, or
hip hop. I like that.
Or R&P, rhythm and pop. People get in their feelings because it seems like I'm shitting on this. Listen, there's nothing wrong with being popular. People want to be on the charts. It's what it is. But I listen to some of the singers, none of the popular singers, but I listen to some of the singers, not necessarily a lot or a long time, but I like throw them on a playlist just in case I'm around some young Lils, and I'm like, all right, well, this ain't so bad. You can listen to this, but nothing moves me. Nothing moves me because the 90s was different. The 90s was different, and the 2000s is when everything, in my opinion, started to suck. But the 90s is a very interesting, very decisive period for music, and especially R&B. So it's you can talk about why for a long time. It's a lot of things about the 90s that changed music kind of forever.
Okay. You think it changed for the good or the bad or neither or both?
It changed good for people who were doing this to make money.
Okay.
It did not change well for the artists that were just, singing and loved to sing and wanted to do things their way. The 90s R&B, it's like I said, that signaled the meshing of hip hop and R&B in the 90s. And then it went from that to R&B and rap, because there's a difference between rap and hip hop. So in the 90s, your R&B would have a rap feature. It'd be, such and such jumped on this track on the, on the bridge. They had a verse. It wasn't, best of both worlds, but that was just a song. It was this person has 10 songs on the album and they got this rapper on one, or they're on the remix. It wasn't commonplace to have rap and R&B together, or hip hop beats on the R&B. That
Night Pool.
That's 90s. When Mary had the top billing beat, and that didn't ever happen. You didn't have Aretha Franklin didn't sing over the Friends beat by Houdini. That wasn't a thing. But the 90s kind of ushered that in. The other thing about the 90s R&B is women did way better than the men. Women blew up. It was the 90s was the rise and fall of groups. In the 90s, you had about 50, 60. I did a whole podcast on just women, female R&B groups. I did a whole hour and a half just on them alone.
I remember that one. It was good too.
And so you had women got along for a little bit. They don't get along no more. Everybody want to be a solo artist. The guys, think of all the guy groups that you had. How many guy groups can you name now? How many women groups can you name now? You can't even put them on one hand if you can name enough. Vocals mattered in the 90s. If you could sing, you was gonna do pretty well for yourself. Now, all you gotta do is flip on the auto tune and repeat the same thing a few times. The genres disappeared in the 90s. So that's why it was another big shift, because you did have R&B, but if you go back a little further, you had R&B, you had soul. Mm-hmm. I mean,
adult contemporary.
Yeah, you had funk. You had a lot of different things, but those slowly went away and just started meshing in now I want to be on the radio. And radio is pop. No matter what you say, back in the 90s, you would go to someone's city and say, yo, what's the radio station out here? Because you wanted to hear a certain song. You wanted to hear Mary.
Mm-hmm.
After towards the end of the 90s and the 2000s, every station was playing Mary. You didn't have to ask what station it was.
Right.
The same station that was playing Mary was playing Britney Spears and playing Toni Braxton and playing Mariah Carey and playing Christina Aguilera. It was the same station, but early in the 90s, now you had to now what's that station? Sometimes it had to be a college station because the regular radio stations wouldn't even play the stuff. The songs were longer. Nowadays, you got people that just dropping 45-second songs and 5 minute and a half songs. They're calling it an album.
Right.
EPs back then,
are not albums.
Yeah, back then we would have called that a maxi single.
Shout out to Casinos.
Yeah, remixes were totally different songs than the original song. They had different lyrics, a different beat, different feel. Case in point, if you listen to Mary J. Blige's "I'm Going Down" and then listen to the "I'm Going Down" remix, the only thing that's similar is the words "I'm going down."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the albums, in my opinion, in the 90s, far less skips. You would just throw on an album and you'd be like, nah, I'm good. Even if it would be a song you didn't like, you just didn't like it as much as everything else. It wasn't like, nah, this is trash. It was, nah, it's just the other 5 songs before it was so dope. I don't like this one as much, but I'll listen to it. And then you go listen to the rest of the album. Far less skips. Now you listen like, this is whack. This is whack. This is whack. Nah, that's cool. And it's only cool because the first 3 songs was whack. But anyway, I'm sorry, I'm rambling. The 90s was really different.
Great points, man. I agree with you 1,000%, man. I think it's so much different, and that's why I had to ask you that before we even got started, because first and foremost, you're right. R&B that we knew growing up is dead. It's no longer a fabric of the music scene. Are there artists out there that still do R&B music? Of course.
Sure.
But the genre itself, the way that it was conducted and constructed back in the day, it no longer exists. You have a lot of people, in my opinion, nowadays that really can't sing, both male and female. And I just and I hate to pick on her. Well, actually I don't care. She don't know me. SZA. She was extremely popular when she came out, and I know she was, with the Kendrick Lamar's crew and the whole nine. I listened to her album, and I couldn't believe what I was hearing.
You listened to Control?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Didn't like it at all.
Oh shit.
I was, and I'm probably in the minority, but there was very little replay value for me. It sounded like one. It sounded like one long ass interlude. I was just like, yo, and it goes back to what you and I have talked about numerous of times. You go on the timeline and everybody was like, yeah, they was talking about like it was the best thing since sliced bread. And I told myself, okay, well maybe I'm being too hard. Maybe I was listening to it at work. Maybe too much stuff was going on. I was like, I'll put it on in the car on the way home. It got worse. I'm in Atlanta traffic, about to fall asleep. I'm like, nah, this ain't it. And so I found where my listening ear, if it doesn't appeal to me, I just can't listen to it. And that doesn't mean that it's not good, but it's not for me. And, instead of being politically correct, I'll tell you, I'll point and say, okay, well, hey, that's not R&B. It's not R&B and it's not good. It's not good music. So for the Snow Allegras and the Summer Walkers and all of these people, they don't make music for me. Jacquees, they don't make music for me. And I don't really consider them to be R&B. Like you said, it's more like R&P. Because it's very popular music, and people feel like popular music is, it has a negative connotation, and I don't mean it that way. But at the same time, it's not, rhythm and blues. It's not. It wasn't music that you would find on Video Soul.
Yeah, I mean, it's more rhythm and emotions. I mean, everybody now it's the emo wave, and they got anxiety and they depressed and they in a mood, and everybody's about to jump out the window, but they gotta get these songs out. I mean, and it's for the depressed era, the depressed society. Hey man, listen, go ahead. I guess that's the problem. In the 80s and the 90s, we wanted to have fun and enjoy ourselves, and so the music kind of reflected that. And if you was feeling away, yeah, you have some heartache and pain in like 2 songs. But then you you wanted to party, you feeling good. That's the other thing. And I don't want to, because this is a 90s podcast, but so I'll just say the 90s instead of 80s. But the 90s, you wanted to give people different emotions, different feelings, and you could make a song about anything. You can make a dope song. You could be talking about going to the mall and buying some shoes. That's all you're singing about. You can people made it. Hey, I just got paid. Let's make a song about it. I want to be rich. Let's make a song about it. Whatever you wanted to do, you just make a song about it. I'm going to the club. Make a song about it. I'm leaving the club. Make a song about it. My mother pissed me off. Make a song about it. But now it's just like, yeah, they left me. I'm leaving them. I'm fucking them. They fucking me. I don't feel good about myself.
I feel sad.
All my friends are dead. So, I'm like, all right, man, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, very little variety.
Yeah, so I think that's a thing. But it's a reflection of the younger people and the people that want to listen. Again, we just wanted to have a good time and feel good, and that's the kind of songs that people made, and that's what it is. And these people are fine with being in their feelings. It's a song called "In My Feelings."
In my feelings.
in their feelings.
And what's that? In my feelings challenge or something like that?
Yeah. Meanwhile, Tony saying, "No, it feels good." Right now. We're not in the feelings. It feels good.
Yeah, it feels good.
He made a whole song. It feels good. It's just, man, it feels good in my feet. Boy, I'm having a great time. And then, now it's like, damn, I'm in my feelings. Like, shit. Even Tony's song about the blues was upbeat and happy.
Right. You can do just swing on my nuts.
Jesus Christ. But, what do I know?
Oh, man. Oh, that's funny. That is funny. So, yeah, we wanted to give you guys some background before we started talking about some of the best albums to come out in the 90s. So buckle up. If you haven't, if some of you weren't around in the 90s, and I mean, that's, no fault of yours. Your parents just hadn't fucked yet. But for those of you who were, this will be a good trip down memory lane, because we're going to talk about some of the best albums that dropped in the 90s. Now, like I said, I have my list. He has his list. I don't know what's on his list. I'm guessing we might have one or two that are the same. Maybe not, because he's eclectic. His listening ears are eclectic. So what I want you to do, we'll go back and forth, and when you give me your album, and and as you talk about it, also give people the one joint off the album that you love. Like, so if it's I don't know, Tony, and whatever album it is, you say the one song on that particular album that people gotta hear, or maybe your favorite song was for that album. So
okay, now listen, now hold on, this is very important.
Go ahead.
People that's listening, as he said, I don't know what he has. He doesn't know what I have. When we do lists, we do lists differently.
Mm-hmm.
We're not looking for everybody's approval.
Nope.
We're not trying to be like, nah, this is the greatest. This is what we like, and this is what we was feeling.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to say this. This is very important. This is como se dice muy importante.
Oh shit.
That's right. 90s R&B albums, and we're doing 10, right?
10. And then and then if you have any honorable mentions, we can do those later.
All right, but I need to preface this because I have 90s R&B albums, but I also have neo soul albums, because that's not R&B. That is not R&B. So my 90s R&B album list will not have neo soul on it because it's not R&B.
Okay,
so I have a totally different.
Go ahead.
Neo soul only albums.
Okay. So here's what I did. Mine included neo soul.
See, this is why I have to ask before we start doing this.
But no, you can do it like that if you want, and we can talk about some of your neo soul joints.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, when I'm proposed to do something, I'm going to tell you what I got. I have 10 R&B albums. I have 10 neo soul albums. I have 10 women only albums, and I got 10 men only albums because I don't know what he's up to. So I have 4 lists. I got 4 lists.
He knows.
I got R&B. I got R&B. I got neo soul. I got women only. I got men only. I almost did a whole just groups, but I ain't want to. All right, so
he comes prepared. I love it.
So if we doing R&B, we'll do R&B, and then we can talk about the other stuff later.
Yeah. So we'll do. But like I said, mine will include a couple of neo souls. So we will have enough time to do your R&B, and then I'm intrigued to hear 10 neo souls, because I love neo soul. So yeah, let's go ahead and get it started, man. Give and these are no particular order.
Oh, we didn't put them in order. I put them in order, y'all. Listen, everybody, I would have put them in order.
This guy is unreal.
I would have put them in order. Oh, okay. Well, we didn't put them in order.
Mine's not in order. He can do his in order. He's eclectic.
I was just saying, man.
The name fits. You guys can see it right now.
I don't know what kind of operation we're running here sometimes.
For those of you listening, you can tell we've done hundreds of podcasts together. He comes prepared. I had no idea he'd do this.
A wise man named Lawrence Parker once said, "I don't play around, nor do I F around."
Oh man! So what you got? Go ahead and give me one of yours.
Okay.
You can start at 10 if you want.
I'm starting at 10. 10. I got. I got 1994's Crazy Sexy Cool, TLC. People know about Creep. They know about the Red Light Special. They know about the Waterfalls. My favorite song on there is If I Was Your Girlfriend, the Prince cover.
Okay. Love that joint.
If I Was Your Girlfriend is crazy, and Digging on You. Those two is crazy. So Also, shout outs to them for actually having the Fife Diggity Dog on the intro too. Shout outs to them. Rest in peace, Malik Taylor. But so yeah, number 10, Crazy Sexy Cool. That's what I got.
Okay. Love that album. Little known fact, that was the first CD that I actually purchased.
Look at you.
CD that I actually purchased with my own money. Crazy Sexy Cool.
Well, before you finish,
go ahead.
I would be remiss if, since that was your first CD that you purchased, I purchased a cassette tape. and when I purchased the cassette tape, here, this part of the program is where I tell the story that pisses off a lot of people.
Go ahead.
So I purchased the cassette tape, and I believe that the first half ends with waterfalls. And then the second half has another interlude with Jermaine Dupri, and then it has Let's Do It Again, If I Was Your Girlfriend, Take Her Time, Can I Get a Witness, and Switch. And so when you get a cassette tape back in the day, while it's playing, you read the liner notes. You unfold it, start reading, seeing what's coming up next, seeing what songs they use and type of thing like that. So I was doing that. And I looked, I said, oh, the last song is called Something Wicked This Way Comes. I was like, well, that's a long title. Let's see. Oh, featuring Dre of Outkast. So, I looked around and said, boy, do I not like them. So once the Switch song went off, I stopped the tape. I took the tape out and I put tissue in the holes of the tape, put it back in, and hit record and erase the song. And to this day, I've never heard that song.
Shame on you. How dare you?
I'm just telling
cut
the
off
story.
The great Andre 3000.
I'm just telling the story.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. That is funny. Yeah, great. That's a great story. So yeah, given the fact that I bought the CD, I couldn't do that. Of course, I would not do that because I love Andre 3000. My friend over here, not so much. And mine are in no particular order. I got 1993's Tony Braxton's debut album. Tony Braxton. Man, listen. I love me some Tony Braxton. That was just my joint. She was on LaFace. So she came out with Babyface, and she had this nice, beautiful woman. She had a short haircut, and she was just dope. She could sing. She had this very melodic, alto-ish voice.
Listen to you.
Yeah, man. I'm a student in the game, man. My
joint, well, I don't know. You keep it up. I'm telling your wife.
my joint on there was How Many Ways. Love that song. Love that song. So yeah, I got Tony Braxton for my first entry for R&B. What you got up for the next one?
My next one might be, this might seem, for some people might come out of left field because it was released early in the 90s. And by early in the 90s, I mean 1990.
Okay.
Foster and McElroy's greatest inventions. In Vogue, Born to Sing.
Yes.
Born to Sing by In Vogue is damn near flawless. The women are damn near flawless.
Hell yeah.
And their vocal ability is damn near flawless. You put all that together, and it's 100% aesthetically the greatest women group that's ever created. And I would gather to say vocally the greatest female group ever put together. And you can't go wrong with any song on there.
No.
But the bonus track on the CD, Waiting on You, boy, that'll put you in the mood. That'll put you in the mood. Everybody loves Hold On, and also it's funky because you heard it from hearsay. But
I see what you did there.
But Waiting on You, crazy. If you can, go on your YouTubes, go on your Spotify and your Fruit Music, and take a listen to Waiting on You. Take a listen to the whole album, but yeah, you want to go with that.
And all four, and not that it matters, but all four of them were fine, and all four of them could sing.
Yeah,
Jesus.
I mean, shit. A Fife that was on the Crazy Sexy Cool album. His man, I'll be sure, was in effect mode.
Yep.
He also used to have a crush on Don from En Vogue.
I think we all did. I know I did. Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yes, man. That one didn't make my list, man. And I was kind of teetering back and forth about it making my list, but that was one of the albums I think that almost everybody that I knew had that, male and female. And I just you never get tired of it. So these are, and what's interesting is as you're talking, I'm thinking about how many times I still, even to this, because like I said, I don't really listen to today's R&B. When I want to slow things down, I go back to these albums, and that's one of the ones that I go back to. My second one, and again, these are in no particular order. 1993. Tony, Sons of Soul.
Listen to you.
Man, let me tell you something, man. Not long ago, well, I think probably at the time of this recording, maybe about a year ago or so, I did a podcast called Slow Jams, where I talked about the Slow Jams, Get the Draws mixtape that everybody had back in the 90s. Your mixtape wasn't complete if you did not have at least one song from Tony. This album, like you said, another flawless album. I listened to it from front to back. My favorite joint on there is a popular joint, but it has so much meaning and sentiments. Is Anniversary.
Really?
Yes, that's my joint. That's my joint. Never get tired of listening to it. I could sing it, but I ain't singing on here because I'm too thugged out.
Oh shit!
but that's my joint, man. Sons of Soul, man, still gets mad play from me, man. What you got up next?
Yeah, I think on that album I would have went for me, Leaving a Slow Wine.
Okay. Yeah. Slow Wine. Slow Wine is on Mad Tape.
All right. Ironically, my seventh album on my list is 1990's Tony, The Revival. And The Revival had the aforementioned Feels Good. And the crowd favorite, It Never Rains in Southern California. But boy, if you don't put on that Whatever You Want,
yeah, man,
and just start feeling good about yourself, and slept on the final song, Those Were the Days. Great album.
Joint. Yes. Yeah, you can't go wrong. And that was the thing, too, that I found even in trying to make my list was like some of the joints from the 90s, man, they had, multiple groups or acts had multiple albums. And that was because, like, in the 90s, it wasn't just about trying to make just a hit record or hit song or whatever like that. Like, you were constantly trying to crank out, great music. And I think that's what we were, we were privy to. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. So, like you said, Revival, dope ass album, man. Dope ass album.
Now listen, so far I don't think we've matched on anything.
No,
yet.
we haven't.
I have a feeling. I have a feeling that this next album that you say I'm gonna have on my list. I just got a feeling. I might be wrong, but I got a feeling. Go ahead.
I'm willing to bet that you won't have this on. I don't think you like this guy.
Oh, okay, then no. All right, then never mind.
My next album, 1990.
You got Mark Morrison on this list?
1990, self-titled Johnny Gill. See, I told you wouldn't have Johnny Gill.
Oh boy, you had a better chance of me singing Anniversary than that being on my list.
Man, I love this album, man. This album, oh my God, man. I was still in high school when this joint came out, man. I remember a young 12 used to get on the telephone. This was back before cell phones. I used to get on the telephone, man, have this joint playing in the background and be singing to the ladies, man, just singing my heart out. And my joint on there was, of course it had My, and Fair Weather Friend, but my joint was Giving My All to You. That was my joint, man. I used to, I can carry a tune, so I would impress the young ladies back there singing the old JG. So, like I told you, I knew that wasn't going to be on your list.
Jesus Christ, there was no way. I don't even have comments on this.
It's okay. We can move to yours.
However, this is how we mesh. Ironically, the number where am I at? It's in 7, 6. Yeah.
Yeah, you're at 6.
The sixth album, ironically, is loosely related because Spider-Man and Freeze in full effect. Listen, this album featured, that came out in 1990. The album featured, I thought it was me. It featured Let Me Know Something. Ain't Nothing Changed. Poison.
Yes.
Bell Biv DeVoe. Come on.
Act like you know.
Yo, slick.
Slick.
Yeah. So yeah, man. I mean, what can I say? The album was so dope. They made a remix album.
Which one did you like better, the album or the remix album?
I don't know because see, the remix album gave me my reunion. Mm-hmm. So I saw lean in it. I'm trying to tell you, literal tears. Chilling, foot of the bed. It was like, yo, we got a new Bell Biv DeVoe for you. I'm like, oh shit. It was like, yeah, word to the mother. I'm like,
mother.
I'm watching. I'm like, this ain't like the one on the album. Man, it's just like, it started singing. I'm like, the hook came and Bobby Brush, man.
Yeah, man.
Because it wasn't no Twitter, it wasn't no spoilers. It wasn't no, hey, did you see the... It was just like, yo, here's the world premiere of the new film. And I was literal tears. I was like, yo, what?
Yeah, man. That was crazy. And you know what? For those of you listening, I want you to listen to him. I asked him which was better, the original album or the remix album, and he can't decide because they were just that dope. I'm telling you.
Pun intended.
Pun intended. And yeah, man, I'm with you, man. I think probably the first time I heard Words of the Mother remix probably was when we saw the video.
That was the first time. That album wasn't even out.
Exactly. And then to see Bobby back with the fellas and singing.
Ralph was in there.
You don't like Ralph.
Yeah, old boy was in there.
And I mean,
I blame that on the editing.
And I mean, hip hop smoothed out on the R&B tip with a pop feel appeal to it. That's what Bell Biv DeVoe was, man.
Yeah, and shout outs to the underrated song on there, I Do Need You.
Yes. I used to sing
Song's incredible.
I used to sing that one to the ladies.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, man. Hey, that album. Oh, my gosh. My joint on there was When Will I See You Smile Again?
Of course.
Let me see. My next album...
All right, this is definitely going to match. We're halfway through. We got to match it.
I promise you this won't match because you're not fond of this album. And you were fond of her before, but you're not fond of this album. The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, 1998.
Because it's not an R&B album. That's why it's not on the list. Okay.
Yeah, well, that too.
Okay.
But for those of you scoring at home, this is not a hip hop album. I'm tired of people throwing it in the hip hop category. This is not a hip hop album. She was hip hop when she was with the Fugees on the first album.
This is a Lauryn Hill album. L Boogie is hip hop.
Yeah, perfect. You're right. L Boogie was hip hop. Lauryn Hill was R&B. Now this is an incredible album, front to back. I mean, it's won Grammys and it catapulted her into superstardom. But we're not talking about none of that. It's a dope ass album to listen to. I think the thing that really resonates with people like me and E was that because there was no Twitter, because there was no internet at the time that this came out, we had really no indication of what it was going to be. We knew that it was going to be a solo album. The score had come out, and yeah, Lauren was singing on the score, but we didn't know that this was going to be what it was that she was going to deliver to us. So, and I think you've talked about this before in previous podcasts about your level of disappointment, not necessarily because it was a bad album. It just wasn't what you had expected.
I'll never forget it. I went to the record shop on campus. I was in college. So I went to the record shop. Come on, man. Shoe. I thought you knew. Everybody's somebody, man. Grambling State University, man. Shouts to Erykah Badu. Shouts to E40. Man, you know how we get down, man. Coach Eddie Robinson. Man, what, man? Black quarterback won the Super Bowl. Doug Williams. I mean, just regular shit.
This guy.
Just regular shit, and me. but when I got the joint, it's all alone in the dorm room. I'm about to take it to the lab, throw it in. I'm like, it's funny how money. Okay. Tell him, Lauren. She's killing it. All right, she's singing. All right, okay. And so then, I'm like, all right, this song go like she might kill it, and then X Factor came on. I'm like, yo, what are we doing? Right. What is this? I'm like, you know what? Fine. You know what? Fuck it. Second album, she killed it on the Lost Ones. X Factor, I'm gonna let her get her thing off. I'm gonna let her get her killing me softly.
I know where it left. I know where it left.
Boy, that song went off. And Zion. I literally stopped it. I stopped the CD. I was like, nah. I was ready to fight everybody. I was like, what? I said out loud, what the fuck is this? I stopped the CD. I looked at it. I wanted to make sure I had the right CD. I was so pissed when Zion came on. And Zion is a dope ass song, but I was not looking for a dope song about some kid right now.
Her kid.
Yeah, fuck him.
Oh man, that is so
a wise
funny.
Man named Michael Jeffrey Jordan once said, "Fuck them kids."
Fuck them kids.
But yeah, man. So I then doo-wop. I'm like, I already know doo-wop is not it. I'm like, what? Oh my god. Man. Oh, now I'm getting pissed all over again.
And you know what? When you listen to it and you look at it and you listen to what he's saying and put it in context, what you're saying actually makes sense. Because we had no idea. No, there was no preparation for us that this was going to be an R&B album. All they said was like, look, the new Lauryn Hill album's coming out Tuesday. Get to the record store to get it because it's going to sell out. And that's all we had. So much like the first day that it came out, I went to the record store and got it too and came back to my dorm and started playing it. I was just so entrenched. I mean, anybody knows me. I'm a huge Lauryn Hill fan. So I was loving El Boogie. So I was like, I knew this was going to be dope. So it didn't really bother me, Zion and all the singing and stuff like that. I learned to love it. But, at first listen, it wasn't what I expected, but I knew it was dope. Mm-hmm. And so I just kind of took it from there. But what your sentiments were, shared by a lot of people. And, some people I would say a lot of people came around on it, and some didn't. And it's understood because, again, there was no context. And I just want to kind of reiterate that to the people.
Yeah.
We didn't know. So it's hard to go buy an album from your favorite or one of your favorite artists and you're expecting one thing. I thought, you probably opened it up thinking you were going to get the vocab.
Well, I was about to find out how many mics she ripped on the daily.
Right. And this Zion, it's an ode to her son. And it's just
man, shut up, man. Two things. One, I never really got over the album. That album turned from something I was just going to rock because I wanted to rock out to just, if it was a chick around, I'm throwing that on because I know that's going to be the move. I don't think I played it recreationally more than like 10 times.
Okay.
But nah, if women come around, let me throw this on. I know y'all like it.
Man, and I'm pretty sure the same thing happened at Grambling because I was at South Carolina State at the time. Every woman had that out.
And the second thing, at some point, I got to do a podcast. We got to do a podcast about why she's overrated. She's a fraud. That discussion has to be had.
And that's painful because everything changed after this album.
Yep.
There has been no follow up.
This was Thriller.
Yeah. Right.
And she didn't have a bad, and bad was bad, but she didn't even have a bad.
Yeah, bad wasn't that good.
No, bad was bad. But that's a totally different other conversation.
So you're up next. What you got for this? And we still haven't gotten it. We're gonna have one. Yeah, we should have one. We should have at least one or two.
We should have 3. And there's only like 5 left, but we should have 3.
But remember, I have Neo Soul, so you have a totally different list. So my Neo Soul's probably gonna pop up on your Neo Soul.
Yeah. I got Miseducation on my Neo Soul.
Okay.
Released in 1992.
Okay, good year.
Yeah, 92. Shouts to the 92 people. This album had anything on it. This album made you weak. This album told you that she'd be right here. It's about time. Sisters with Voices.
Yes.
Come on, man. It had the Right Here Human Nature remix on the reissue.
Yes.
Downtown. When you just knew what Downtown was. if that song would have came out like 2 years before, we were like, what's she talking about?
Yeah. What you talking about? Downtown? There's no downtown in my town.
No. What, you trying to go to Sears? Sisters with Voices, listen. Anything. I'm so into you. Right here. Weak. You're always on my mind. Yeah. Downtown. These are all on the same album.
Yes. All releases.
These are all singles.
Love that joint.
I don't even know what my You're Always on My Mind is strong.
Yeah. My joint on there.
But right here would get.
But the slower version of Anything is so cold.
Oh yeah,
it's so cold. I mean, don't get me wrong, the remix is incredible, right? And you got the woo on there the whole night. But the slower version of Anything, I that's one of that I have on repeat. Like I'll put it on if I never listen to it once. Like I always got to listen to it twice. My favorite joint, really probably two, is Anything and Downtown.
You nasty.
Yeah, I'm nasty.
But that album, I had to put that album on, and I had to put it higher because this is what I was saying earlier. These albums would come out with not a single, not like, nah, that's the song on there. About 5, 6 songs. Like, nah, this song. You can legit just have an argument about what's the best 2 songs on the album, and people wouldn't have the same 2.
No, not at all. And what's interesting, and for those of you who follow the podcast, I did a podcast on this a couple of years ago celebrating the 25th year anniversary of this album. And I said that on the podcast, and it still stands. Even the B-sides are really, really good songs. Like, there's no, like you mentioned at the top of the podcast, about no skips. There's no skips on this. Even the songs that you might be like, no, it's okay. You will sit and listen to it because...
Yeah, but like I listen to Black Pudding.
Oh man, yeah, that incredible album. All
right, here we go. Here's the match. Here's the match. Here's the match.
1991 Jodeci. Forever My Lady.
All right, we do have a match. That's one. I said we got 3.
Yeah, I knew we had to have that one. Yeah, man, that album, 1991 was the year that I graduated from high school and went into college. And when I tell you this was the album soundtrack of that year for me, it was really, really dope. I'm gonna have to do a podcast, so I don't want to get too deep into it, but I will do a podcast on this particular album. My joint was Stay. That's like one of my.
So as soon as the album came on, you was hooked.
Yeah, I was hooked.
Like shit.
And Stay is on like every Slow Jams, Get the Draws mixtape I ever had. So yeah, Stay is my joint. Ironically, when you listen to this album, like the first 5 or 6 songs are Slow Jams, and then the quote unquote B side is just all fast up tempo joints. Yeah. It's not bad. It's I can't really remember too many albums in the 90s that were constructed that way, where you had a slow side and a fast side. But yeah, incredible album, man. I knew that this would make your list, but I had to put it on mine.
Yeah, love this album. Well, I love because I had the cassette tape. Okay. Boy, that first side.
So you didn't have the CD. You had the
Okay, I had the cassette tape.
I think when it came out, I had a cassette tape too.
Yeah, CDs was dumb expensive back then, and didn't nobody have a CD player like that. Yeah,
because if my first CD that I purchased was Crazy Sexy Cool, that was '94. So you're right. I had a cassette.
The first half.
Yes.
And so that's the thing about that album killed you, because you had the cassette tape, you play side A, you like, what the fuck could possibly be on side B? And you like, Gotta Love.
Right.
Great. So yeah, I ain't fuck with this. The fast side. That's how dope this album is. It had 5-6 songs that you're like, all right, I'm cool. I'll listen to the other side, but nah, I'm just gonna rewind this.
Right.
My big beef with this album.
Oh.
It was 0 Father MC on it. I'm like, you ungrateful fucks.
Yeah, because they got that started with Father MC on.
He could have been on any one of those fast
Treat
joints.
them like they want to be treated joint.
Yeah, he could have been on any one of those fast joints. I'm like, you ungrateful. Anyway, my favorite song on that album, since it's on my list, I'm just going to get. So, my favorite song on that album and my favorite Jodeci song, period, is You and I. So yeah, so yeah, I'm rolling. Okay. My next album, even though it's me, and even though I said what I said, I'm taking it uptown to the R&B killer.
Yes,
the album that killed R&B. 1992's favorite. 17-year-old, 18-year-old Mary. What's the 411, man? I mean, listen, just because it killed R&B does not mean it's not a dope album. It's one of the greatest R&B albums ever made.
It is.
But it did kill R&B. It killed the fuck out of R&B.
Oh, man.
I don't need to go into, too far. I mean, Jesus Christ. It starts off with a Schoolie D sample. Then it has an MC Light sample. Then it has a Audio 2 sample. Then it has a Make the Music with Your Mouth Bed sample. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Hey, man. Puff. Hashtag blame Puff.
Yeah, hey, man. Yeah, listen, incredible album. If I had to pick, Jesus Christ. Jeez, man, this is one of those albums, man.
It's tough.
It's on. Put it like this. In my opinion, the worst song on here is Sweet Thing.
Agreed.
And everybody loves Sweet Thing. But that's how dope this album is. That is the worst song on here. Ain't even hers, it's Shaka Khan's.
Yeah, Sweet Thing, it's not a skip for me, but like I could wash the dishes and not really, it could be on and not really pay attention to it.
Yeah. But this, I mean, because I was going to say, I was gonna say, nah, you know what? My shit is probably Love No Limit. I was like, oh, changes I've been going through make you feel. Then Grand Pooba got the. I don't know.
My joint on there is You Remind Me. That's my joint.
Okay.
Yeah.
But she slowed down.
Yeah. It took me a minute to warm up to I Don't Want to Do Anything with KC.
No.
It took me a minute, but then once I warmed up to it, that was my joint too. And man, that, like you said, it's hit after hit after, and not even just hits, just dope music, man. And like you said, I great memories, man. Shout out to MJB. You know I love her.
That's just incredible. By the way, sidebar.
Go ahead.
What's the 411 or what's the 411 remix?
Damn, you got me on that one. That 411 remix is so cold. Damn. And it goes back to what you said earlier. The remix, the words are the same, but the songs don't sound like it's.
Because some all of a sudden slow, the others all of a sudden feel like what? Like oh.
I'ma go with what's the 411 barely.
Because you see how they flip Love No Limit? They turn it into a jazz song.
Turn it to a jazz, right.
It's like, Jesus.
Nah, fuck that. Let me go to the remix.
I mean.
Let me go to the remix. I got a remix. What about you? It's tough, right?
On the strength of the remix did have You Don't Have to Worry. That wasn't on the original.
Right, that was on the
that was on the
soundtrack.
remix.
It was on what soundtrack was it?
That was
Who's the Man soundtrack, right? I think.
Was it?
I think so.
All right, but yeah. Also, shouts to Prince Marky D for help writing Real Love.
And then you got Biggie on the remix too.
What's better, the Biggie version or the Grand Pooba version?
Big.
Nope, it's Pooba.
Nah.
It's Pooba. He was sweet to pole at the hole of a golf course. Come on. Take those short slits so I can step up and see.
Yeah, and Pooba's the guy. Pooba's that dude for real.
It got cooler. I mean, Biggie's was dope, but I gotta give it to Grand Poo. All right, so that's my selection over there.
Okay. This next one I probably won't appear on your list. 1992 Sade Love Deluxe.
Love Deluxe.
Man, let me tell you something right here. Whew, man, I played this album anytime I got a chick in the car. and then I played in the dorm. It was just like this album top to bottom. I mean, Sade is just dope, at least to me. I think she's dope all around. And she's just so soulful, man, and just so like she can just lull you. And I mean, like her voice is very feathery and very soothing, and I love listening to her. My joint on there was my favorite Sade song, I would probably say, is Kiss of Life. The piano and everything on that, I love it. I'm gonna try to learn how to play that shit one day. But yeah, that's my joint. I don't think it's on your list, but
nah, it's not.
It got so much play in my car and in the dorm.
Well, my next joint is on everybody's list. It was on everybody's list, but now it's not on everybody's list.
Uh-oh.
Not 10. Not 11. Not 11 play. Say what you want to say, think what you want to think, feel how you want to feel. Yeah. But boy, if you tell me that 12 play don't have everything on it, man, you'll get the fuck out of my face. Your body's calling.
Yes.
Seems like you're ready.
I mean,
bump and grind.
Yeah.
Sadie, Sex Me 1 and 2, 12 play. Man, listen, I don't care who he was singing to. I know who I was singing to.
Right. You was singing to the girl that you brought over to the crib.
Yeah. We was probably singing to the girls of the same age, but it was okay for me.
Right.
so it was fine with me. I thought she was ready as well. So, hey man, look, if you want to argue me about a dude's personal life, which I never care about anybody's personal life on the entertainment or the sports side of the game, because that's not what I watch or listen to them for. You know, they could be like, man, LL Cool J just murdered 50 people.
You still call
it? Hey, what do you want from me, man? Does that make that song whack all of a sudden? Fuck you. You know, I can't do it. They were like, man, Robert De Niro raped this girl. Boy, I still like The Godfather. You can't make me not like the fucking shit.
I feel you. I can't.
I listen.
But I respect it. I respect it. And I will go, and I think I've said this before on the podcast. I mean, R. Kelly, I haven't been a fan of R. Kelly. I've long before the documentary and all that stuff came out, I stopped listening to R. Kelly music. I don't have any of his music on my on any of my streaming services, anything like that. And I think R. Kelly's a piece of shit, and I've always felt like that. And that being said, and I totally get and respect where you're coming from. That being said, there's nothing that you've said that's not true about 12 Play. 12 Play is a phenomenal. You could make a case that 12 Play is the greatest R&B album to come out in the 90s. You can make a case for it.
You 100% could. And so what I'm saying is, what a person does is not going to retroactively make whatever they like. The Bill Cosby thing, that don't make him the fucking Garden Gartrell episode of the Cosby Show less funny.
It's still funny.
I'm sorry, I can't do it.
I wanted now, Gordon Gartrell.
I still do, but and let me make this clear, and this is very important to say. I've never been an R. Kelly fan. Okay. I'm talking about born into the 90s. I wasn't an R. Kelly fan. Now, I realize that Slow Dance and Honey Love and She's Got That Vibe are bangers, but my issue was he just jacked Aaron Hall.
Exactly.
And that's why I never fucked with him. I've never purchased R. Kelly album to this day. I've never even purchased it, even when he was cool to fuck with, personally. But all that being said, I can't deny that these songs are bangers. Right. Just like, you know, when you're growing up, you're like, man, fuck Jordan. All he do is fucking beat all these people, man. But he's still the greatest basketball player of all time. I can't take it away from him. I just don't like him right now because he keep winning. Like people don't like Tom Brady. But you can't say, you know, what am I supposed to do? But he jacked Aaron Hall, so fuck him.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, you listen to She's Got That Vibe, and that sounds just like Aaron Hall, just like him. And he
fucking cut all his hair off.
He stole Aaron Hall's style and never gave him the props for it. Never. But yeah, I agree with you, man. I would. It doesn't make my list, and none of R. Kelly's albums will make my list ever. But I'm not going to sit here in front like I wasn't playing, because I did play 12 Play, and I did have the cassette tape, and I did have his songs on my Slow Jams Get the Draws tape, and anybody that, you know, came up in our era probably did too. So I'm not even going to sit here in front like just because I don't fuck with him now.
Let a chick come over and I put on Sex Me and she wrinkle up. I'm like, all right, then leave, man. You ain't going to tell me you don't want to. All right, anyway.
Because 12 Play was the closer. When by the time you got to 12 Play, it was time to close the deal.
Boy.
So you know where I'm coming from.
Yeah. But,
so yeah.
All right, look. Do you have? Because it's like 2 left, right? No, it's 3 left. 2 left.
Yeah, I've got 3 left.
All right, I got 2 left because Forever My Lady was on there. Now, are any of your 3 neo soul?
Actually, wait a minute. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 left. I don't know.
Well, I would have had 3 left, but I only have 2 left because of my lady. So that makes sense because you're about to go now.
Yeah.
And then we will both have 3, but I only have 2. So it makes sense.
Yeah. So I've got 3 neo souls left.
You have 3. Wait, how is that possible? Unless you're calling one of these my final 2 a neo soul album, it is impossible that you should have both of my final 2 on your list. This is crazy. All right, I'm listening. Go ahead. I'm gonna shut up.
So one that I have, 1996's Maxwell, Urban Hang Suite.
Okay.
That's my joint, man. I mean, it was so incredible, man. Still rocks to this day. My joint on there was Till the Cops Come Knocking. Although I will say something was dope, but the something reprise was better.
I just hated the fact that he tried to something it. Shut up. You know the name of this damn song.
But yeah, Maxwell, man, dude, at least for me, seemed like he came out of nowhere. And this album got a lot of play, man. A lot of play back in the day. So yeah, Urban Hang Suite, that was on my list as well. Then let's see. Okay, I can just go through mine. Let's see what my next one. You already talked about it, man. The Queen of Hip Hop Soul, 1994, Mary J. Blige, My Life.
All right, that's my number 1. Okay. That's not a neo soul album.
No, I didn't. No, that's not the neo soul. I still got 2 more neo souls.
You said the rest of them were neo soul.
No, I said I had 3 of the 4 neo soul.
Right. Yeah, that's my number 1.
Okay. Yeah, man. That album, I did a podcast on it. Phenomenal, front to back. It has some sentimental value.
Listen, you softy.
I mean, hey, man, I met my wife on this one.
I mean, yay her, boo you.
Right. But yeah, man, my joint on that, Never Want to Live Without You. That was my joint. Yeah, man, that album. I mean, the My Life album is one that I still play, to this day, and it still resonates with me.
Now, this album, like I got as my number 1.
Okay.
And I have What's the 411 also on my list, and I was
from Mary. I love it.
I don't hate Mary. She just killed R&B.
I know you don't hate her. I know you love music. I know you don't hate her.
I only like her first 4 albums. I don't like the rest of that shit. But
I will agree.
But 411 is like it's hard for me to pick a favorite song. This album, I could pick a favorite song easily.
Okay, what's your favorite?
It's Don't Go. So, and I mean, come on. But so not only that, even though I have this one higher, because I think it's a better album than 411. The worst song on 411 that I said, I dislike the worst song on this album more. I'm going down. I wish it was never put on this album.
Yeah.
That album ruined the whole flow of that song ruined the whole flow of the album. It was just like, oh, why is this on here?
Yeah, and then, given the fact it was on the Wait and Exhale soundtrack too, I just I hated that soundtrack too. By the way, and I know that's unpopular opinion, but I
mean, I wouldn't even be mad if you hated the movie. Well, but
wasn't a fan of the movie either. My girl loved it.
Yeah, of course. But, it wasn't made for us.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So, but I mean, I'm going down. Put Sweet Thing on here.
Yeah.
Boy, yeah. But I'm going down. I was like, fuck.
It's
but yeah,
the one skip for me. I've heard it enough. Like, it's just like, because
the first time I heard it was it from me. I'm like, all right, I never need to hear this song again. And she did a video. I'm like, come on. Yeah. All the songs on here, you did a video for that.
Yeah, it wasn't, and it's still not a favorite of mine. It's a very popular song, and it's resonates with the women and all the stuff like that. But nah, I'm good. I don't when I'm listening to My Life, it's the one skip, and I'm cool with it. I'm cool with
and
it.
The remix though, if they would have put the remix on there, flawless album, no skips.
So yeah, that's a good call. So you've got what two more?
No, I only got one album left.
Okay.
You want me to do it?
Yeah, go ahead.
My number 2 album, because this My Life was number 1. My number 2 album, which could have easily been number 1, but I was trying to be a person. Was featured on my number 1 album, self-titled, Faith.
Yes.
Listen. 1995, the Faith album. Now, when I say zero skips, it don't have a I'm going down on it. It ain't got a sweet thing on it. This album is flawless. And I know some people just like, but nah. This song got the up tempos, got the mid tempos, got the slows. Her voice is buttery.
I like that, buttery.
And hey man, if you get the CD, you get the bonus track, which is probably my favorite song on there. It's called Reasons.
Yes.
You listen to that song. Listen to her sing at the end of Don't Be Afraid. I don't know what to tell you. You know what? Nah, this is my number 1. I'm moving it up. This is my number 1. This is my number 1. This is it. This is the number 1 album.
Oh, man. This one didn't make my list. It made my honorable. I can go ahead and tell you now it made my honorable mention.
I don't know how it couldn't have been.
It was tough, man, because like this album, like you said, is flawless, man. My joint on here, All This Love.
Oh, that sounds incredible.
Man. I don't know.
What she hit you with it? You got me singing la la la. Oh, come on, man, get out of here, man.
I don't know what she was going through, whether it was Big or whoever it was, man. But this album, man, oh my God, it literally is a killer all the way through. I mean, like even the joint Love Don't Live Here Anymore, which is a remake.
That is her sweet thing, fucking I'm Going Down, but she did it right.
Exactly. She crushed it.
She did it right.
She crushed it. And I mean, like really, and I look back on it, like I'm surprised that they probably, and I don't know, because I mean, she was on Bad Boy and the whole nine. I'm surprised
Bad Boys do real things.
Right. I'm really surprised that they didn't release more singles, man, because this album, I mean, I'll put it like this. You Used to Love Me, as dope as a song as it is, and I love the song. It's not even the best song on the album.
It's not in the top 5 best songs on the album.
Not even close. You said Reasons?
As soon as I Get Home is better. Reasons is better. Don't Be Afraid is better. All This Love is better. Ain't Nobody is incredible. Come Over.
You put Come Over on it? Put Come Over on your slow jams. Get the Draws mixtape. And she's going to come over.
Yeah, this is gonna. Anyway, man. So yeah, that's why I got as number 1.
Okay, so what did you have at 3? Because I don't think I have a 3 written down for you.
All right, here go my list. Here go my list. Is 1 Faith. 2 My Life. Okay. 3 Forever My Lady. 4 12 Play. 5 What's the 411. 6 It's About Time. 7 Poison. 8 The Revival. 9 Born to Sing. 10 Crazy Sexy Cool.
Okay. I mean, no argument whatsoever. All of them are flawless. I found it interesting that Crazy Sexy Cool, Poison, and It's About Time.
Born to Sing.
And Born to Sing,
All groups.
and they all ended up on my honorable mention.
Hey!
All of them. He's a sexy cool. Yeah, I said crazy sexy cool.
Because you put Neo Soul on there. If you wanted to put Neo Soul on there, you would have had these albums.
And I also had on my honorable mention.
Wait a minute, you got to finish yours first.
Yeah. My last two. These were two new Neo Soul joints, and I'm sure they're going to appear on your list. 1997. Young lady out of Dallas, Texas. I think she also went to school with you.
GSU.
Erykah Badu's debut album, Baduism.
Mm-hmm.
Man. Flawless. I never grow tired of hearing this album. Never. Ever.
You
can't. No skips for me. My joint on here, Next Lifetime. I really kind of felt like she was singing that to me. Like, she's gonna meet up with me next lifetime because she can't get with me this lifetime, so she can get me next lifetime.
All right, I'm following.
And last but not least,
hold on, because I love that song.
Okay.
I love that album.
Go ahead.
My favorite song on there is Drama.
Yes.
All right, but go ahead.
Last but not least, anybody knows me knows that this one had to be.
How the fuck you get Reasonable Doubt on here? How you sneak Reasonable Doubt on your 90s R&B?
This guy, man, that's not. You know, that's every now and then you get off of funny. That was funny. D'Angelo, 1995, Brown Sugar. Man, phenomenal album. I listen to this album weekly, even to this day. My joint on there, Smooth. I bought a piano like 2 years ago. If and when I sit down and learn how to play Smooth, I am going to post a video on social media of me playing Smooth on the piano.
You're going to put a candle on the top of the piano?
And then after I post it, I'm going to quit. I'm going to quit social media. I'm just going to walk away from everything because there's nothing else left for me to accomplish in this lifetime. If I could play Smooth on my... And I've had the piano sitting in there. I go in there and mess around every now and then. But once I learn how to play this song, it's a wrap. You can't do anything else to me. I'm untouchable. Yeah, I love this album, man. I love D'Angelo. This album will have an anniversary coming up at the time of this recording this year. So I'll probably do another do an actual podcast on this particular album. Phenomenal album. It was his debut album. Dude came literally out of nowhere, and yeah, this is one of my favorite, hands down, probably my favorite album. I didn't have mine in any particular order, but this is probably my favorite 90s R&B / Neo Soul album.
Yeah. What D'Angelo did was something that very few artists, period, did. He came out, and both sexes loved him.
Mm-hmm. And that's hard. It's hard to do in the night.
It wasn't like he came out and then the women was like, "Oh shit," and then the guys was fucking with him because the women liked him. Nah, the niggas liked him too. It was just like, nah, he cool. I want to hang out with him,
right?
And get some of his women. But yeah, he did one. Nobody else did that like that back then, like, you know. So nah, I fuck with it. Dreaming Eyes of Mine is my shit on it.
Okay, the original or the remix?
Original.
Really?
Original.
I thought you might like the Dreaming Out remix with Reggie Noble on it.
I know, I like it. I got it. I got it on my phone. But no, I'm gonna go with the original.
Yeah, I love it. I tell you what, man, this is a great place to take a pause for the cause. This will conclude part 1 of the 90s R&B podcast. But don't worry, we're not done. On part 2, we'll come back, and my man Eclectik has a whole nother list of neo soul albums that we need to talk about and break down. So Don't worry, we will be back, but this will conclude this episode. So for my man Eclectic, I'm your boy 12 Kyle. We'll catch you guys on the next one. 5 G's.